Hey, we're back here again. Uh, sorry if you hear any background noise in this video. My sister has her nephew downstairs, and he is very loud. But I'm just like, hey, why not get Spinnerette Mind thing over with? Because I really want to get this playthrough over with. I mean, it's not that I'm not enjoying the game. I'm very much enjoying the game, which is why I want to play more of it. So I want to speed through it all. And just experience it in a rush. But I'm dragging it out. But anyways, let us continue where we were. Vriska steers your ship directly into the well-pointed schooner, and you struggle to keep your feet at the shock of impact, which knocks the violet blood off her frightened thralls to the deck of the Rue. She yells over the din of the horrific wood-on-wood screeching. Hey, Swabby! Wanna be really good at sword fighting? You look at her with stars in your eyes. Yes. You do want to be really good at sword fighting, you nod eagerly. She underhand tosses you her blue hilted saber, which you catch eagerly. Vriska grins back, puts her hand to her temple, and squints with her one good eye. The 7 red dots of her prosthetics seem to smear and blur as your vision loses focus. You've managed well to this point as first mate of the brigantine, but your sea legs seem to give out on you all at once. You drop the sword you were just given and clatters to the deck. You try to tell her something is wrong, but your mouth lolls open and you drool a bit. A dull pain gains a sharp and sudden clarity. It feels as though 8 spindly legs are crawling on your head. No, in your head. Each football feels more like a knife cutting through butter. At some point, all sensation slips into nothing, and you follow the sword to the ground asleep. What the fuck? Wake up, moron! You don't hear that, and you don't wake up. The salt and swell of the ocean gives way to a rustling of alien trees. No longer do you hear the scream of gulls following your ship, waiting for corpses and gore to tumble overward. It's all peaceful. Consciousness returns to you. Its first present is the discovery that you are face down in slightly wet dirt. Got some in your mouth. You spit out and sit up, rushing muck off of your flarp costume. Wait, that's not the flarp costume. That's a hoodie with a jacket cerulean symbol. A different symbol on it. Loose fitting, as though it belonged to a friend. Half memories swim in your mind as you take in the scene, just as familiar as your clothing. A stump sitting in a clearing between the trunks of purple-treed Alternian forest. A harpoon sticks out of it. This stump would typically fill you with unease, an aura of death and defeat, but a squirrely silhouette cuts the darkness, and you step further into the clearing and feel your heart lift. Sitting there on the stump, kicking bare feet back and forth, tilting her head to the side and smiling impishly, is your friend, Boldir Lamati. You remember her.
Psst. Fancy seeing you here. That's a joke. I'm a figment of your imagination and I was expecting you the whole time.
She passes the stump next to her in an inviting gesture, and you sit down. Feel less adrift than you can even remember. You tell her you missed her.
Of course you did. You've gotten yourself into a real mess, dear friend.
You ask about all your old friends sitting next to you. They float through your mind, clear as day, as though the memories were never locked away in the first place. How are Dagora and Gallica doing? Has she run into Ardata again? What's going on in the neighborhood? Do folks miss you? The last question collapses her wry smile into a genuine, crestfallen expression.
I can't really tell you that for sure. You've seen yourself just how much you can do. There's a whole other disturbance in this neighborhood, and it has his nefarious fingerprints all over it. It's almost like he was preparing for this. But I try to stay one step ahead, and I remember what I'm fighting for. Do you?
The question is arresting. What are you doing? Even with your memory clouded, you've just been pummeling into other people's stories, breaking things as you go.
Well, there's nothing wrong with breaking things. It's like they say. Sometimes you have to compromise a few unfertilized cluck beef embryo in the name of a complete breakfast.
You tell her you haven't had a good breakfast in ages. One of the places you were at had swords in a fridge. Also, you have absolutely no idea what you're doing.
You're going where the weather takes you. But things are different now. There's a great power within you that you're just now realizing. The power to save the river, to use its waters to scour the land as you please. A power he doesn't even fully understand.
You look down at your hands. Sitting next to her, you start to remember the green room. The story you've fallen into. You tell her there's so much broken, and you have no idea how to fix it. You tell her that you wish she was real, not in just your head. She'd know what to do. She tilts your head again inquisitively.
Am I though? Just in your head, I mean? The story is broken if you accept that it is broken.
If you think that the story is something given to you.
But it's not. Puppet Masters may try to say that the string that they are pulling are the only ones.
As she says this, her head jerks back oddly, but she continues whispering, calm as ever.
Don't be afraid. Don't anyone tell you that the story belongs to them. Not him, not anyone.
You feel it too. It feels like threads tug at your body, and at hers even more. Her limbs twitch and pull in gruesome pantomime as more and more strings loop around her and disappear skyward. They nearly surround her completely, but you're powerless to resist, paralyzed.
It's for you. It's always been for you. Remember, friend, the only question.
She manages to spit out four more words as she is swallowed up and entangled in a spider's web of marionette string, choked and broken.
What will you do?
The whole scene seems to melt away in searing green, and you are falling, dancing beneath the skilled hands controlling you. He is here. He was already. The ticking of 1,000 clocks, exactly in time, echoes around you. Did you miss me? I seem to be on your mind. I am flattered. It's no wonder you're thinking about me just after meeting one of my greatest disappointments. You really do spend too much time around the willful little girls. It may start to give you ideas. Ideas of choice, of challenge. You're relevant because those holding the strings decided you're relevant. An observer. The show must go on. But don't make the mistake these little ingrates did. It can go on without you. The bits that really matter, at least. What's that? Am I doing this? I'm afraid not, darling. I don't even know what you're referring to. Tears sear at the edge of your eyes again. Try to keep Boldier's words in your mind as the strings squeeze the breath out of you. What will you do? Another voice seems to answer from another place entirely, scratchy and loud. It says, "Fix this." You wake up. Cold stone and a draft greets you. Charming. You barely open your eyes, memories of the dream already fading to wisps in your mind. You're in the cluttered bedroom, the cluttered respite block that you sure is Vriska's, based on the broken 8 balls scattered everywhere. You pick yourself up off the ground and try to think of how you got there. You passed out back on the brigantine. She must have brought you home. But where is she? You turn around and see a window. You look aside and see a dramatic scene below. Vriska is mind-controlling a group of thralls. When she must have went off of Dreadclaw while you were out cold. They're marching one by one towards a massive web. Perched on the web is a giant spider, heaving, hulking, hungry. Vriska's about to feed the losers of this game to her Lucis. Oh no, it's the choices! It's always the choices. I can't watch. Okay. Holy shit! Vriska's Lucis is a giant spider monster that eats children. This explains so much, and also raises a significant number of questions that you're gonna think about while not watching these kids be eaten. You look for something to distract yourself with. You spot a black, raggedy book, much older than anything else in this room, with Vriska's symbol on the cover. You reach for it and open it up, flipping to a random page, and I'm seeing what looks like a journal scrawled in cerulean, but not in Vriska's handwriting from your character sheet. Looking at the first page, you see the name Mindfang. You read and holy shit, you're very unsure this is appropriate for a young girl to be reading. Keep flipping through the different parts. Wow, it just gets worse. Vriska named her character after this? You'll lose yourself and hate reading Mindfang's long stories about petty crime, dubious consent, and really detailed descriptions of outfits of a woman named Reglair. You're surprised. Then, when Vriska walks up the stairs, hands are in pockets looking at the ground. She doesn't even look at you before sitting down on the floor across from you, cross-legged and staring 1,000 yards into the distance. She walks back and forth, hands still in her pockets. You go to give her a reassuring pat on the back. As soon as you touch her metal shoulder, cold even through her shirt, she turns to you with a jumping glare and hisses like a cat before facing away again. You get the message. She takes an 8-ball out of her inventory again and then savagely, brutally beats it to the stone floor of her room until it's nothing but shards in a puddle. The two of you sit. She occasionally picks the debris of the 8-ball and rocks, clenching and unclenching her fists. But as the minute passes, her breathing slows bit by bit. You don't say a word or bring up what happened. She's the one who talks first. Earlier, you seemed confused about why I care so much about playing a character. She thumbs the dog-eared edge of a worn piece of paper in her sharp clawed hand, staring at the wall. She's still got blood on her jacket, blood that almost makes you retch the memory of spidery mandibles devouring her spoils. One glimpse of it made you sick. What would dozens do? Hundreds. I mean, it seems obvious to me that the Marquise is the greatest and coolest character ever made. But I've been her for so long, it's sort of like a part of me. Everybody's throwing shapes every day, acting like something, right? But most people are boring. They don't dress up, they don't act, they're always so obsessed with being the exact kind of troll they were yesterday. Maybe you don't have to be the same. Maybe you can go to the message boards and try out being someone new and find out who you like. Maybe it's nice to be called something your Lucis doesn't call you. And meet people who only ever knew you as the girl online or the other ship who is super badass and good at things. Come on, you can't tell me you never wanted to be someone else. You edged a bit closer to her during this rant and are looking at the sheet of paper in her hand. It's a spreadsheet-looking series of boxes she's filled in with red ink. Name, Marquise Spinneret Mindfang. Class, Petticoat Seagraft. Gender, F. Levels, all of them. She's doodled all over the margins, out of her captaining ships and swinging swords, and drinking out of goblets. Have you ever wanted to be someone else? The question makes you uncomfortable. Just pondering who you are now fills you with unease. Fuck, playing a character, spilling out a sheet like this so yourself seems impossible. A piece of paper representing all your physical and mental attributes. A blank canvas, the common outlines thereon defining the boundaries of every conceivable personality. You don't even know how you'd feel in the gender box. I'm busy making friends, okay? Suddenly she turns on you, and there's a desperate kind of crazy intensity in her good eye, like her gaze will burn you. You're going to leave, aren't you? No, yeah, of course, everybody does. Do you think I like this? I used to have a partner. She didn't like it either, but she helped anyway. Like you, I guess, except she didn't puke when she saw blood. And also not like you at all. She made rules. She loved rules. I don't know how if you noticed, but I'm not like this. Big on those gambling queens broke rules all the time, and that's just what you gotta do to survive. To make the voice stop hangering me. Like, she's had her looses in her head too, but she didn't need anything from her. What's it even like? I've got to be the best. I have to. I didn't get all the levels just to look at them on a sheet. You saw me out there. It's dangerous. She tried to kill me and left me alone. And then I got to even because that's what you have to do to backstabbers. But I don't feel it. It doesn't bother her. Nobody ever cares. They just leave and move on, and I'm still stuck here in this stupid world. How are people mad at me for putting losers out of their fucking misery? This planet fucking sucks. Oh boy, that's a lot. You let her finish her triad. She hasn't looked straight at you for the whole thing. You gently ask her about how her Moirail, who you did just befriend, will feel about her saying she's alone. You see a lot of thoughts flicker through her head, and she has a lot of expressions across a glance across her face. She settles onto a look like she's smelling something off. People always want shit from other people. Sometimes you know somebody and you can't describe like what your whole deal is. You grow up with these ideas about what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to be. You get handed down these strict categories, tables in your player's handbook, and you read stories, journals, or whatever. They say this is a mate spirit, and you feel like this about them. And you have a Moyle that meddles with you because you're just too broken for her, and she wants. Or you get told, oh, this is what a rival looks like, and then you look at your black date. That's just an absolutely repulsive slimy eel who always wanted to kiss him, and ew? Man, I really upgrade in that department. But then there's someone that comes along and none of that makes sense to you. You just like being with her. Or it's not even like you just feel like that shit makes more sense with her. I would say it's like you have this voice in your head saying that you're not good enough all the time, but she makes it quiet, and I'm actually do have a voice in my head saying I'm not good enough. God, I know I'm saying this right. What I'm trying to say is, yes, there's a doomsday device. Everyone leaves, nobody cares, and we're all waiting on a call up to war. And look, I'm ready. I'm the best at war. It's just a big flarp. But I'd rather have a plan B. You give Vriska a moment to breathe. You don't give her a reassuring touch on the back, remembering her jump and hissing you tried that last. She's like a feral cat, this girl. Tangled, greasy hair droops over her shoulders, and they're always hunched up, like someone would come for her throat if she exposed it to anyone. You wonder if she ever let her shoulders down around the girl she's talking about, or an ex, perhaps? Of course she did. You wonder if she ever will again. You hear a piss in your ear and a squirrely little laugh, and so I remember a green room that you had this thought before somehow. You ask her the question that's been consuming you, or more accurately, not consuming you. Why were you left up there when everyone else got fed the spider? She tenses up immediately when you ask this, and takes some time to clench her fists and release them. Some people love limits. She has to eat, but she doesn't eat my friends when I bring her enough food. And you're kind of off limits? You're one of her friends? Oh my god, don't get a big head about it. I wouldn't let her eat Karkat either, and he's not like my bestie for life or anything. Plus, you helped me out, and that's the pirate code. Plus, Sussy Fangs would be mad. It must be hard separating trolls into two classes, friends and food, like that. It must be hard and nobody understands. I mean, that's how it works here. Everybody's got someone to kick down on. Except Rustbloods. But them's the bricks. Somebody's got to be on the bottom to keep the whole shebang afloat. Killing people lower down than you is what all the school feeds say you're supposed to do. To get ready for a life-space war against... Well, it mostly seems like they all just kill more lowbloods. That's all there ever is. My hand sister. She looks left and right, so she's going to be overheard, then leans in smirkingly. She sounds like she's letting you in on a secret. A secret. My ancestor, Mindfang, she sailed around being terror of the high seas for a while, but she fell in with a group that was going to do something about all that. A bunch of weirdos led by a mutant who wanted revolution. I've always wanted to be like her. I liked using her name other than my own for a while, dressing up like her, learning to sail. But I've always ended up back here with a pile of corpses. That's having a lusus, right? Sometimes you don't get to do what you want to do. She talks to me, you know. It only stops when she's full. Always whispering in my head! Saying I was fatter than her, saying I deserved all the things that happened to me. Even though I was bleeding out on this floor! You look at the cold, cluttered, uncomfortably drafty room. Whatever happened to her face, face and arm must have happened here. See a broken figure silhouetted on the wall. You look back at Vriska, and you know what she is. For all the bombast and insults killing, you're looking at a survivor. You're looking at someone who did nothing wrong. You remember Dave's carefully crafted defense of a persona. You remember Rose eating oatmeal for dinner in a drafty brutalist mansion, Jade in the shadow of a volcano raising herself. Your world can be as brutal as this one. Earth makes survivors too, and you've made a difference for them, one at a time. All of that nihilistic bullshit earlier feels like it was shouting at you by some meddling voice. Someone holding the strings. Fuck that! You're gonna be a goddamn hero today. You're gonna make friends with this whole fucking planet if you have to, and you're going to make it better, or at least less of a complete dumpster fire. You tell Vriska you'll be right back and sprint down a spiral staircase. You keep running, pumping your beautiful legs straight out the door in Vriska's giant hive. You don't have to color inside the lines of someone else's story. This is your motherfucking narrative now. You take a leap when you reach a cliff and barrel over, falling fast. Wind whipping past your face as you tumble through the air towards a giant white spider, a leap of faith but not hope. You crash into the carapace of Vriska's terrible murder mom hard, cracking it with a piercing shriek. At the same time you... Eat! Zap! Hundreds of feet above the mouth of the volcano on Jade's Island and kick off the back of the spider, leaving the giant troll gorge arachnid tumbling into the lava as you zap back to Alternia, back to Vriska's respite block. You appear behind her. She doesn't notice you. She's looking at her window, down the empty web, with a shocked expression. Still looking at the window, her stunned silence turned, slowly, into a grin, sullen, less strenuous than you would describe as shit-eating. Holy shit, Kensham! You actually did something! Hell fucking yes! We killed that bitch! We killed that bitch! Do you see that? I feel like a bad bitch now. So yeah, join us next time for Horsecock.